With your CIGTV News Update, I'm Donna Bush. Glad you could join us. On Monday, Premier the Honourable Alden McLaughlin and members of his Cayman delegation had discussions with members of the various EU commissions and Code of Conduct group with representatives from Belgium, Cyprus and Luxembourg. Later on Monday, the Premier and his delegation will meet with the EU Code of Conduct group, which assesses whether particular jurisdictions have tax regimes that are deemed potentially harmful to EU member states. The chair of the Code of Conduct group will participate via telephone as she is in Rome. In between the two meetings with EU representatives, the delegation will meet with Mr. Christopher Vink, Advisor General for Direct Taxation at the Belgian Permanent Representation to the EU. Separate meetings are also planned with the Attaché for Direct and Indirect Taxation at the Permanent Representation of Cyprus to the EU, and also with the Ambassador from Luxembourg's Permanent Representative to the EU. Well, also making our headlines today, our very own videographer, Stefan Johnson, is the top civil servant for the month of November. Johnson not only received the Chief Officer's Award in front of his supportive colleagues on Monday morning, he also received the Employee of the Month Award. Considered most willing, Deputy Governor Frans Manderson described him as always willing to make clients happy and to provide world-class customer service. Stefan, who was surprised by his colleagues, expressed his gratitude to everyone, while Mr. Manderson spoke highly of him.
You demonstrate much diplomacy and tact, and you're skillfully able to put the person at ease in front of the camera, including myself. You're open and honest about the need to perform at a high level and have earned a reputation for delivering ahead of schedule for important occasions, such as the arrival and swearing-in ceremonies of a new governor. Your focus is always to provide the best service possible and to ensure that you meet or exceed the expectations of your customers. You will keep yourself abreast of the latest production material and tools on the market in your efforts to provide a final product suitable of a world-class civil service.
And this is the first time an employee of Government Information Services has won both awards at the same time. We say a huge congratulations to our colleague, Stefan. Well, this week, the Public Accounts Committee will meet for 2 days. During the sessions on Wednesday and Thursday, updates will be given on progress being made on recommendations to various government entities on their spending. Members will discuss their findings and will follow up on what actions have been taken on suggestions made previously. Time will also be spent on reviewing financial statements with representatives from various departments and ministries. PAC will meet this Wednesday, January 16th, and the following day, Thursday the 17th, starting at 10 a.m. on both days. You can watch live coverage on CIGTV and on our YouTube channel, CIG Television, rather. Well, finally, the Department of Environmental Health has extended its natural Christmas tree recycling program through to the Thursday, the 24th of January. The DEH is reminding residents to remove all wires and ornaments from Christmas trees before placing them in collection bins at locations across the island, which are the Ed Bush Stadium in West Bay, the Georgetown Cricket Field, and the landfill public drop-off area, also in Georgetown, the Spots Dock, and the entrance to Frank Sound Road. Now, free mulch will be available to the public at the Georgetown Cricket Field on Saturday, the 26th of January, around 8 in the morning. For additional information on the Christmas tree recycling, you can contact the DEH by calling them at 949-6696 or by emailing them at dehcustomerservice@gov.ky. If you missed today's news update, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page as well as the CIG Television YouTube channel. Wishing you a safe and wonderful night as always. I'm Donna Bush with CIGTV. Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!
Did you know that planning permission is required for an addition, alteration, or any material change to your house? The 10% rule no longer exists. Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know that a deck more than 6 inches above finished grade requires planning permission? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know that planning permission is required for a sign? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know you should check with the department before leasing a property or unit for a business, as a planning and permit application may be required?
The Esterly-Tibbetts Highway 3-lane roundabout is ready for drivers. It's time to make sure you know how to use it. First, know which exit you need to take. Pay attention to lane arrows and signs. Make sure you use your signal to change lanes or exit the roundabout. To turn left, you always approach in the left-hand lane and indicate left. To drive straight ahead, you need to be looking out for signs and road markings indicating which lane to use. Get in one of the lanes marked with a straight-through arrow. If turning right, you must use the right-hand lane and indicate accordingly. To use the roundabout safely, remember these 3 tips. Know your exit, pick your lane, and signal to make your turn.
Did you know your mailing address details on your land register must be up to date in order to receive notices on new development which may impact you? Visit Lands and Survey Department to check your mailing address is correct.